Especially black men, with all the things that they have to deal with, do not like drama-filled situations.
What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. You know what it is. So today we're going to be reviewing a video titled How to Communicate in a Relationship with a Black Man. Black woman telling black men, or I guess she's speaking to black women, how to communicate with a black man.
Okay.
What are your initial thoughts?
This could either go left or right. Honestly, I'm not sure which way it's going to go. Hopefully she gives some good advice, but I wouldn't be surprised if she was being salty as well. So
we'll see. I mean,
I'm hoping for the best.
We're looking at the like to dislike ratio, and I mean it's pretty decent, right? So
yeah. We'll see. Okay, I haven't lost all hope then. We'll see.
All right, guys, make sure you don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. 60% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. Help us out. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So here we go.
What's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to Chat with Charlie. I'm Charlie. Very excited to be with you today as we're talking about a topic that I am very passionate about, and it is how to properly communicate with black men. If you do not know, I was raised by a single black man.
All right, so right off the bat, she was raised by a single black man, which, you know, you don't really hear too often, which is pretty interesting. What are your initial thoughts on that?
No, I think it's going to be good to hear her perspective, because you usually hear about like people just talking about how they were raised by a single mother. So it'll be good to hear her perspective. So we'll see.
I have been married to a black man for 10 years, and I have also worked for high-powered black men in the corporate world. So I know what it's like to communicate with black men. I have made mistakes in my communication with black men, but I have also learned a lot of lessons on how to properly get whatever you need to communicate out the right way, and in a way that they're going to hear you and understand what you're saying and be more open to receiving the message that you have for them. So this can be whether you're just trying to have a serious conversation in your relationship. This can be if you feel like you guys are not on the same page and you don't really know what to do, or if you're really offended by something and you need to have a serious conversation with the black man in your life. What I'm going to share with you will be able to apply to all of those things, okay? So, and it can also be applied for like work world situations and whatever else. So let's just get started. The first point that I need to make is that you need to stay calm. Men in general, but especially black men, with all the things that they have to deal with, do not like drama-filled situations. In fact, a lot of us don't. I remember talking to a marriage counselor one time, and he said there was a study done on husbands, and they had neurotransmitters hooked up to them, and when it was time for them to have conversations with their wives, the parts of their brain that were firing off were the parts that we experience when we have physical pain. So it was showing that basically for men, a lot of times conversations that to their wives just seem normal, regular, we're just talking about how we feel. For them, they can be experiencing physical pain. They don't like drama. They don't like being confronted about things. And so if you're trying to get your message...
So I like this girl already.
That is crazy.
She's off to a good start. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think just her first point, just being able to say like stay calm and just, you know, keep a peaceful atmosphere, I think is super important. Yeah, I don't like that study just threw me off. It's like having a conversation with your wife, it triggers like physical pain in the husbands.
I'm interested to see what the study is about. I don't know if she linked it. We'll probably check it out after and see. But I mean, so far so good. I mean,
you're okay with it so far?
I don't have any rebuttals or
no
refutes, but let's continue.
Message across to the black man in your life. You want to create a situation where he's actually going to be able to even hear you. And the best way you can do that is by eliminating drama. Be calm. Be careful how loud you're talking, and maintain your composure. And in fact, what you're going to be doing is positioning yourself with respect. The minute that you start raising your voice, you lose your power, you lose your respect, and you start to put yourself in a category of person that people generally don't want to be around because they don't like drama, okay? So please just maintain your composure, be calm, and make sure that your voice is at a conversational tone. That's going to help you out a lot. Number two, very similar to number one, you want to be respectful, okay? Treat him the way you want to be treated. So that means Do not be yelling. Do not be cursing. And make sure that you are not having threatening gestures. That means arms flailing, you're in his face, going back and forth, all of these things. Because I'm going to tell you, if you're dealing with a respectable black man who has a high standard for how he treats women, what you're doing is you're creating an environment where he doesn't really have many options, right? If a man was coming at him that way, he would know how to respond. And that's probably going to be with a physical altercation. If a man is in his face, yelling, screaming, cursing, right? A man is going to know how to handle a man. But you are a woman. And so what is he left to do? Most likely leave the situation, right? So that he doesn't do anything that's going to compromise his integrity and is going to hurt you. So please don't put him in an uncomfortable situation by doing these things. You want to maintain respect. Again, you want to maintain your composure, and you don't want to do things that are going to make him feel uncomfortable.
I mean, this sounds so simple, and this is what it should be.
Mm-hmm.
But what are your thoughts on, like, why do you think this is not the norm today? Like, why do you feel like, I mean, especially these modern women, like, they're getting in your face, they're cursing, you know what I mean? They're on OnlyFans, they're disrespectful. Like, we see women, you know, cursing out Kevin Samuels, and he's twice their age.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why do you think women are not following this advice today?
Again, I think media has a huge influence, like Instagram and what you see, like how other women, like who maybe look similar to you act, and you think that like, oh, okay, that's an example that I should be following. So if you are on social media a lot, and a lot of black women are portrayed as like angry and like aggressive and maybe, you know, a lot of attitude and stuff like that. So if you're younger and you're impressionable, you see that, you're like, oh, okay, that's how, like, they're getting a lot of guys, you know. Do you know what I mean? So, okay, maybe it's okay for me to act like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, what she's doing right now is just explaining how to communicate with people in general, right? Like, you don't, with anybody, men, women, to elders, to children, whatever. Like, you should not be speaking to anybody, flaring your hands around, being disrespectful, and, like it's just, like you said, it seems like common sense, so it's weird to explain. But, yeah, I think it's just lack of respect, I think, is a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, this shouldn't be a black or white thing. This should just be how to communicate with people, period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there shouldn't have to be a race attached to talking to somebody with respect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's interesting how our community, like, we have to go through these checklists, so to speak, on how to communicate with a man. Like, this stuff should be standard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and continue. Let's see what else she has to say.
Oftentimes we do those things because we're very passionate about what we have to say. We're offended by something, but you don't want to lose your self-respect by coming at him that way. Treat him the way you want to be treated. Number 3, we're starting to get into the meat of it, is you want to be direct. Have y'all ever seen how men communicate with one another? Okay, hey bro, you going? Okay, you not going? Okay, cool, I'ma head out. Okay, with men, it's direct communication. It's either yes or no. It's either I like it or I don't. It's either I'm going or I'm not. And so when you're trying to get your message across, it's best for you to be as direct as possible. So how do you be direct without being disrespectful? I have 3 sub points for you on how you do that. Okay. So number 1, you want to talk about what happened. Number 2, you want to talk about how you feel about what happened. And then 3, you want to talk about what you want him to do in the future. This is going to help your man stay focused on what you're talking about. If you talk too much, if you get caught up in how you were feeling and you're talking for 15, 20 minutes on that, believe it or not, the man that you're talking to may get really confused and lost in the conversation. It is best for you to stay direct and on course. So I'm going to give just a hypothetical fake example. Let's just say you're vibing, you're talking, you're laughing, and boop, he says a disrespectful comment about your mother. Okay, a joke or something. You're offended. In that situation, this is how you be direct. You know what? I don't make jokes about my mom because I love my mom a lot. She's been through a lot, and it can really cause a lot of problems in our relationship. So I'm going to just ask that in the future, when we're joking, when we're vibing, that you leave my mom out of the situation. You see what I'm saying?
Like I've worked in sales before. Like this is just communication 101.
Yeah.
Like, what are your thoughts on this? Like, this is so simple. Like,
Yeah.
this is what black men are asking for from black women. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it actually reminded me. It's funny that you mentioned that because I'm like, I swear this is so much from the university class that I took on communications, right? Like in second year or whatever. So I'm just, it's funny to hear how she's reiterating it to be like towards black men, I guess. But I have to be honest though. Because I was laughing when she was talking a little bit, not to be disrespectful or anything, but because I think I'm a little bit guilty of this, where I can definitely be more direct when I'm speaking about, not even like, you're not disrespectful or anything, but like just making my points. I know sometimes I can talk a lot and I can drift off of my point, and you know, it's something that I like have trouble with. So yeah, definitely like I agree with her to be more direct, and it's something that I'm working on. So if you saw me laughing, that's why. But
yeah, I mean, every woman's not perfect, right? There's no such thing as a perfect woman. And if you look at the RP community, like some of these guys go hard with it, right? Like, this woman has to do this, she has to do that, and you're trying to impose your will and be forceful with certain things. Like, no, that's not what it's about. It's about taking somebody with the basic fundamentals. Is she's submissive, fit, feminine, friendly? You know what I mean? Like, does she have the basics? And then from there, you just kind of build. But anyways, let's go ahead and continue.
Yeah.
Let's see what else she has to say.
That is a direct way. You're not cursing. Your voice isn't raised. You're not being threatening, but you're talking about what happened. You're also, I don't know if I even said in there, like, I think that's disrespectful, but you talk about how you feel, and then you talk about what you want them to do. So let's just say in the moment, you're so offended by what happened that you can't be respectful, you can't be calm. He done made this comment about your mom, you're upset, you're offended. The best thing for you to do is to take some time away and then come back to the situation. That will help you to take some time to calm down so that you don't pop off, so that you're not disrespectful. And it's also going to give you time to kind of sort through your thoughts so that when you do finally talk to him, you can be direct. So let's just say some time has passed. And so, again, we're going to go back to that same situation. You say, hey, remember earlier when we were vibing, we were laughing, and you made a comment about my mom. I was really offended by that comment. You know, my mom has been through a lot. I have a lot of respect for her. She's the matriarch of our family. And so I'm going to just ask that moving forward, like when we're vibing and stuff, we can joke about each other, but let's not joke about my mom, because then that's going to cause problems between you and I. You see what I'm saying? That's a direct way to communicate. That's a way that you can communicate. He can actually do something with that. It's short, it's sweet, it's to the point. Other things, he can't really do anything with that. If you're gonna hold on to whatever happened, right, and then wait till later and be like, oh, okay, you got jokes, just like earlier when you want to talk about my mom. You see, that's not a good way to communicate, right? A lot of us do that. I've done that before. I get it when you're upset, but it's not direct. It's an indirect way of saying, hey, I didn't like what you did.
Most situations where you know, if there's something that comes up, do you find that it's better to like talk about it head on as opposed to waiting, like she's saying?
No, you never really want to wait. You want to address it
right away.
Right? Like, I don't want to talk about, like, if I talk about something at 9 in the morning and then you bring it up at 5 p.m., like, I'm already off that. Like,
yeah,
I don't want to be talking about what happened 8 hours ago. You know what I mean? So you always want to address something head on and just kind of move forward.
Yeah.
But, and again, this is what she's teaching. She's teaching women to address something head on and just get it out the way.
I guess if it's like maybe exceptional cases where it's like, if it's something really disrespectful that he didn't mean to say and it caught you, like, you know what I mean? It caught you off guard, so maybe take a second. But I just don't know if I agree with her to say, like, taking some time away and then coming back. Or at least not too much time away, because then, you know what I mean? Like, if you're over it, and then I'm coming up being like, oh, I have something to talk to you about, it's kind of like, oh, God, like...
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, you don't want to take up too much time.
Yeah.
But I think the key takeaway is a woman's initial reaction is to overreact or react with emotion.
Yeah.
And usually when you react with emotion, you usually make the wrong decision, or you say the wrong things, or you may end up saying something hurtful that may affect your relationship long term. So I think what she means is maybe take 10-15 minutes just to kind of think through it, get that feeling out of your system, and then revisit it.
Okay.
And then talk about it at that time.
Okay.
Versus, waiting a day or
a week goes by and
week.
it's just like, last week you said something that made me upset.
Right.
And don't do that,
Right.
But anyways.
Let's continue.
Stay away from those things if we want to grow, if we want to talk about maturity, and we want to talk about really having respect for each other and building a solid foundation in our relationships. Let's try and focus on more direct communication, addressing the problem head on, but in a respectful way. So I think I'm on number 4. Number 4, I wanted to share with you that you want to stay away from accusations. I know firsthand, again, I told you I've been married for 10 years, and I know firsthand what it is like when you feel offended by something and you feel convinced that you know why the man in your life has said or done this thing, and you want to come at them accusing them of trying to hurt you, or accusing them of, oh, you thought you were funny, accusing them of, you thought you were slick. You want to stay away from accusations, okay? You don't ultimately know why the person that you're talking to did or said what they did. So the best way to avoid that is by asking questions. Hey, when we were talking earlier, why did you say that thing about my mom? That opens up conversation, and it gives this person the chance to share their side of the story. You see? So please try and stay away from accusing, and rather ask questions. And when you ask questions, ask direct questions. So, okay, so when you were saying that you were joking, you weren't trying to be hurtful. Okay. And that's how you can kind of move forward. You ask direct questions so that you have the clarity that you need to move forward in the conversation. And lastly, my last point, number 5, on how to communicate with black men is for you to consider forgiveness. I'm just going to be real and say that it is very difficult to forgive, especially when you have been offended. However, if you're looking to build a solid relationship with a black man, if you're really looking for growth, if you're married to a black man, it's a necessary part of the process. Okay, because there are going to be times when you've messed up and you need forgiveness. So I would say strongly consider forgiving.
You're in a relationship with someone that you trust them and you want to build long-term with, right? So it's for the betterment of your relationship. If you keep building up walls and these little things of I'm going to hold on to this because it really hurt me. It's okay, it's better for you to release it, talk about it, and don't repress those feelings. And then all of a sudden one day something's going to trigger, and then all those bottled up unforgiving situations that happened, it's going to all burst into the situation. So
but you also want to address what the issue is.
Yeah.
You don't want to just forgive and just not talk about it.
Yeah.
You do want to talk about it and get to the root cause of what happened. And if it's fixable, okay, cool, yeah, I forgive you, right? But you gotta really fix it quickly before it escalates into something more.
Yeah.
And what I find, when I was single and stuff, when something happens, ultimately, people, because we live in a, fast-paced world where swipe culture and this and that.
Yeah.
Women will just discard men quickly.
And then it's move on to the next.
They'll just move on to the next.
Yeah.
Or like you said, they'll hold it in, they'll bottle it in, and then ultimately implode or even explode on the situation. And then ultimately, as a man, you're kind of blindsided as to where this is coming from.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so far so good. It's obviously why she's married for 10 years, right? She's speaking knowledge and facts.
For open and honest communication, because if you have openly and honestly said, hey, I don't like the thing that you said, or I don't like the thing that you did, and that person understands it, they're like, oh, you know what, I'm sorry, I didn't even mean to say that, or I didn't mean for it to come off that way. you want to forgive at that point and move on. And that's the only way that you're really going to know if you can trust this person is by forgiving them, extending them a little bit of trust, and seeing what they do the next time. So definitely consider forgiveness. Get that thing off your chest. Try and move on as quickly as you can, because I know a lot of times just in life, black men often do feel like they are not given many second chances. They're not really given the benefit of the doubt like other people are.
Most black men want to be with black women. They love black women. They love the physical attraction of a black woman, but it's the attitude, it's the demeanor, it's the bickering, it's the going back and forth. So this is why this video is so important, because if more women saw this video and took this in, there would be more marriages in the black community, and ultimately that would help, you know, the black families, black wealth. It would just help our community grow, especially during these times, right?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you.
Anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and end this video. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time.
Hi, guys.